Pete Rose, baseball's career hits leader and fallen idol who undermined his historic achievements and Hall of Fame dreams by gambling on the game he loved and once embodied, has died. He was 83, Stephanie Wheatley, a spokesperson for Clark County in Nevada, confirmed on behalf of the medical examiner that Rose died Monday. Rose was found by a family member. The coroner will investigate to determine the cause and manner of death, but there are no signs of foul play, according to ABC News. Over the weekend, Rose had appeared at an autograph show in Nashville with former teammates Tony Perez, George Foster and Dave Concepcion. For fans who came of age in the 1960s and 1970s, no player was more exciting than the Cincinnati Reds. 14. Charlie Hustle, the brash superstar with the shaggy hair, puggish nose and muscular forearms. At the dawn of artificial surfaces, divisional play and free agency, Rose was old school, a conscious throwback to baseball's early days. Millions could never forget him crouched and scowling at the plate, running full speed to first even after drawing a walk or sprinting for the next base and diving headfirst into the bag. Major League Baseball, which banished him in 1989, issued a brief statement expressing condolences and noting his greatness, grit and determination on the field of play. Reds principal owner and managing partner Bob Castellini said in a statement that Rose was one of the fiercest competitors the game has ever seen, and added, "We must never forget what he accomplished." A 17-time All-Star, the switch-hitting Rose played on 3 World Series winners. He was the National League MVP in 1973 and World Series MVP 2 years later. He holds the Major League record for games played, 3,562, and plate appearances, 15,890, and the NL record for the longest hitting streak, 44. Rose reached 1,000 hits in 1968, 2,000 just 5 years later and 3,000 just 5 years after that. He moved into second place, ahead of Hank Aaron, with hit number 3,772, in 1982. Number 4,000 was off the Phillies' Jerry Koosman in 1984, exactly 21 years to the day after his first hit. He caught up with Cobb on September 8, 1985 and surpassed him 3 days later, in Cincinnati, with Rose's mother and teenage son, Pete Jr., among those in attendance. Rose was 44 and the team's player-manager. Batting left-handed against the San Diego Padres' Eric Show in the first inning, he smacked a 2-1 slider into left field, a clean single. The crowd of 47,000 plus stood and yelled. The game was halted to celebrate. Rose was given the ball and the first base bag, then wept openly on the shoulder of first base coach and former teammate, Tommy Helms. He thought of his late father, a star athlete himself who had pushed him to play sports since childhood. And he thought of Cobb, the deadball-era slasher whom Rose so emulated that he named another son Tyler. In August 1989, at a New York news conference, Giamatti spoke some of the saddest words in baseball history. One of the game's greatest players has engaged in a variety of acts which have stained the game, and he must now live with the consequences of those acts, despite owning up to the betting. Rose was never admitted into the hall in his lifetime. Although he did receive 41 votes in 1992, when 323 votes were needed, around the time the hall formally ruled that those banned from the game could never be elected. His status remains a matter of debate to this day, with former President Donald Trump calling for Rose's posthumous induction. Pete Rose graduated from high school in June 1960. He flew to Rochester, New York, 2 days later, and then rode a bus some 45 miles to Geneva, home of the Reds' Level D minor league team. By 1962, he had been promoted to Level A, in Macon, Georgia. Rose won one more championship in 1980 as part of the Philadelphia Phillies' Wheeze Kids, his hair graying but his hitting ability remaining, as he smacked 42 doubles at age 39. But he was a Red, above all, and a Cincinnati native and returned to his hometown club in an August 1984 trade that sent Tom Lawless to the Montreal Expos. That marked the start of Rose's stint as player-manager, a stretch highlighted by him becoming the hit king, once and for all. His downfall would come 3 years later, his lifetime ban following him to death.